Whoa, we're live! We're live! My goodness, it's working. Well, that was something.
Well, hello, Viv.
Oh, hi, Chris.
You're in you in your studio in Brighton.
Yes.
Yes.
Ah,
I'm in my studio in Norfolk, so this is our sort of long distance chat. But
yes.
Viv, I thought we could call what we're doing betonmond Fridays, and maybe sort of get into the habit of having these chats while I sort of, draw something vaguely connected with what we do. Now, just introduce Viv for anyone who might be watching. Introduce Bettenmont to our audience.
Yes, okay. Oh, now that you're actually hopefully there, now that we're actually here. betonmond, yes. We're a little card company, card publishing company that I founded, basically, and so far all our games are illustrated by Chris, and we're making beautiful card games that are easy to understand, and well, that's basically it. And it's all kind of, it's also a little bit about storytelling. Some of the games that we have are purely about storytelling. We've got a tarot deck as well, and well,
We'll
but
get to
today
all that.
we get to all of that. But basically, what we are showing you today is Wizard Work, which was our first proper game, which is it's a strategy game, it's a card game. It's very easy to understand. Basically, it's like the whole family can play it, and it's about job-seeking wizards and the
And the
jobs that they seek.
reason we did this, Viv, and I'm going to sort of jump in here and sort of just sort of interrupt you, is that I wanted to draw wizards. That was my entire motivation. And you, Viv, sort of had Bettermond, your card company, and you also had your very good friend Kevin Davis, who is a games designer. And Viv, you know your games as well, which is great. So you know all the technical side
Oh
of
yes,
things. I know nothing.
some of the games
But
I do.
I do enjoy drawing. As do you, Viv. You're also a very talented illustrator, if I might say so. And I wanted to draw lots and lots of wizards. And I said to you and I said to Kevin, uh, would you design me a game with wizards at
Yes.
its core? Because I want to draw a set of wizards. And we've ended up, correct me, Viv, if I'm wrong, I think there are 23 wizards in this pack.
I think it's 22, 21, 21. We had some more wizards,
Oh,
but yes, 21. But we've got 9 familiars as well, so
Ah,
it's
just sort of
beefed up rather. But it's a good lot of wizards, and every single one of them has a lot of character. Um,
Yes, I mean that's sort of really what I wanted to sort of do with wizard work on the visual side,
yeah, show
and
some.
asking you, a few of the cards just to sort of talk about sort of visually what I was after. I wanted to sort of create characters and give them what I thought would be amusing names. So I came up with the names for the wizards. This is Petronella the Potent. She's potent because if you can see in the corner here, there are little logos that tell you the wizard's powers, what their skill set might be. And the skill set is basically fire summoning, enchantment, or casting spells, mechanical wizardry, very good at making mechanical magical objects, or brewing potions. And Petronella the Potent has got a top score of 10 brewing potions. You can see by this impressive goblet in her hand that she really knows what she's doing. I like to think that sort of the amulets around her neck are possibly love potions. She might be on that spectrum. A sort of, I don't know, homeopathic relationship counselor. You can go to her.
Yes.
Something to slip in someone's tea if you want them to sort of fall madly in love with you. Anyway, that's the point. The point is to look at the cards, imagine who this character might be, and maybe conjure up your own sort of backstory for each of these characters. I think that's, for me, one of the great sort of pleasures of creating the different characters. I know this one, Viv, is one of your favorites because
yes.
artwork is on your wall.
Mm-hmm.
This is Sporagard Drizzle. And she, I think, is a fairly disappointing wizard in many ways. She's absolutely hopeless, as her name suggests, at fire summoning, because she is a little bit damp, I think, and a little bit drizzly. So she's not good at
Well,
that.
she's a specialist, isn't she? Like
She is a specialist.
she's very adequate at spell casting and
Not bad at the
above
four, is it?
average at potions, which you would expect.
Well, potions is her thing, I think.
Yes.
I think that's probably because she can summon up, any sort of amount of sort of, weather to sort of rain so that she can sort of dilute her potions to exactly the right degree.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some, specialists about Sporagard, and I just thought Sporagard was a nice name, beautiful name, Viv. And this another beautiful name, Hemblane Shriek.
Yeah, he's very special. Yes, I'm very
He's
fond of him.
mechanical with it. You can tell he's got a high score with the mechanical side and a high score with potions. So you see, each of these has their own specializations. And the pleasure I got was just sort of inventing lots and lots of different.
We did have a lot of fun, like with like Kevin's job was. I mean, Kevin's job was designing the whole game and inventing the mechanics and making sure it all works. But as part of that, he did keep track of all these different stats and all these different powers, and we did a lot of moving them around and doing the calculating and doing the maths so that actually the game properly works, which is a surprising amount of how much kind of statistics goes into that.
I was surprised, Viv, not knowing about any of this. So you were telling me, and you and Kevin would tell me that you had sort of tested the game and then refined it and then tested it again, and you got an array of people who you bring in to test the games for us.
Yeah. There was a lot of trying that out, and it was that was also great fun. It was very nice to see when when we realised that it was working was when people wanted to like play another round, and when they were like when people start to throw cards, you usually know you got a good game going. That's a very good sign. And they throw cards at each other, and that did happen. And when people remember the names of the wizards, that was very good. And then when they, were just, it's a very simple game really. And while they were playing that, they were telling the stories of, like, for example, the heist that they were doing, or, show us a job. Show us one of the job cards, because that's important. All these wizards are looking for jobs.
They are. So this is a random. I just summoned up here. This is Madame Budgie Baker. She's the client. Mm-hmm. She's a wizard agency. So you've got to recruit 4 wizards from your agency to best represent what Madame Budgie Baker needs. She's a caterer of all kinds. Caterers of all kinds are needed for a banquet of a lifetime. How many blackbirds can you bake into a pie? We're welcoming applications from, and so your wizard.
Should we build the job? I think we should build one job. Can you do that without smudging the ink? Can you put something down? Yeah, you can.
Okay, I shall do my sort of sketch here.
Move it. I'll get it back later because I want to see the rest. So, Madame Budgie. So now
That's
you
your
can choose 4 different cards of the job cards that describe that job well. You can do that randomly. Try a random one because it's always nice to do it
Are
random.
we doing this then? Viv? These are
Oh
the
yes, there's you need
script.
4 of these. So you
Yeah.
can put them in a row this time. So a wizard to conjure an illusion, wizard with a grand vision. Yes. So you can start to you can at this point you can just play the game without making up stories, but it's quite nice to think about how this describes the job. So
In order to bake blackbirds in a pie for this great banquet that's going to take place, you need a wizard to conjure an illusion.
that's maybe to trap the blackbirds. Maybe you gotta first trap a lot of blackbirds, and so you
Well, if
conjure.
it's an illusion, Viv, I'm going to argue almost the opposite,
Oh,
that you need a wizard to create almost a CGI experience of the opening. So no blackbirds can be harmed in this experiment, whatever Madame Budgie.
oh, I
But
see. So we're faking the blackbirds. That's good. We're
I think
faking the.
look,
So, oh, maybe this is basically I can't believe it's not blackbird. Basically, it's all tofu.
we now need a wizard with a grand vision. So obviously someone who's
Does
good at sort of, gulling the audience, no pun intended, into accepting what is going on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's going to have the Michael Caine, they've blown the bloody doors off role in
Very
this
good. You need that in a bakery.
to apply science, because obviously this is not going to be easy. It's going to be quite a complex illusion being sort of orchestrated by the
I
visionary.
mean, baking
And
still happens, and baking is a science. So we'll just see. And a wizard who
and
makes a unique impression.
yes, a wizard who makes a unique impression. I would suggest that is within this caper. This wizard will create a diversion. He could well be the one who sort of, takes people's eyes away from what is essentially an illusion. That will actually be a very real experience at the banquet. And it'll quite frankly make Madame Budgie Baker's reputation. She will be the avian cook at the great sort of magical bake-off, I think.
I mean,
Who
yeah, at this point we can say, yes, we accept this job, that's good. Do you want to, draw a wizard and see whether we would employ that wizard in any of these roles? Just to see
Yes,
what would happen.
have a look. Well, first up, I think, is
Keith the
a
Enchanter, oh, absolutely.
Keith the Enchanter. I mean, he's got a very high score, hasn't he? Of 10 in
Do
casting
we
sort of.
need, oh, there's one. Yeah,
So I reckon we could certainly have
yeah.
him either our illusionist or our grand vision. I mean, he would work well with both. Here we've got Heckler's daughter, all the way from a large snowy island
Well,
somewhere.
you really
Uh,
don't want her for any fire-based magic. That's not her
no,
thing.
the baking is off the cards, I think, as far as Heckler's concerned.
Yeah,
But
no, no baking.
she's a dab hand at mechanics. She probably sort of sort the oven out.
Mm.
She's also a great illusionist, so I think she'd team up really well with Keith the Enchanting as the illusionist.
She'd
I
be
think she could.
alright. I mean, she's above average, but we could employ her. I mean, I don't think she's the best for any of these jobs. I'd really pass on her, but okay, fine. I mean, you can employ her. Do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Viv. That's very kind. And I think, let's have Sporrigard Drizzle, your favorite. She she's good at the potion. She might be able to.
Oh, adequate. But yes, she could
Yeah.
apply.
And then we need someone to basically create a unique impression. Might I offer Small Norman?
This is terrible. You should not employ small. This is a terrible team, Chris.
Yeah, but you're a game player, Viv, and I'm a storyteller. So I think, within this sort
I would
of,
absolutely kick your butt if you would employ these people.
this is not so much Ocean's 11 as Puddle 4.
Yeah, it is a bit.
And they will basically, and I think Keith will do a good job setting up the illusion. Heckler's daughter might get into a bit of trouble, sort of trying to sort of, sum up the ground. Keith will be hopeless. He will sort of draw attention by dropping a plate of sort of meringues, and Sporog, I think, will panic, possibly, and set something on fire. So
I think this team would fail beautifully.
Great. Well, failing beautifully, I think, is also part of the fun.
And on the other side, who knows what your opponents, what teams they would employ. So when you're actually playing the game, you're kind of competing for these people, and you kind of you push your luck. You might decide not to employ a certain.
At this very stage, that actually, part of this could be a sort of game of solitaire. I think you could also just play wizards with your own sort of storytelling.
I mean, you can. Yes, you can. You could.
By some of the familiars you can also recruit to the job. So
yes, you get one familiar. You have space for one familiar. As soon as you recruit one, you can't recruit another one. So the whole thing is
to a sort of Snow White theme, don't we? So this is Chatty Cynthia, the magic mirror. So she can actually, when scoring, you may change one of your wizards into a copy of another one of your wizards.
That would have been very useful, because actually only one of your wizards was any good for that job. So you could have had double Keith, and that might have saved you.
That could have worked. Double Keith often saves you. That's one of them.
Keith is a good one. He's one of the 4 grand wizards, really, isn't he?
And here are a couple of other familiars. This is Bob the Golem.
Oh yeah.
Take an extra turn when you recruit the Golem. Whenever you recruit a wizard with 6 or more mechanical.
Yeah, he's very useful because he speeds up your recruitment process. And as soon as you've recruited 4 wizards, everybody else has to take whoever comes along and can't turn down anyone anymore. They're gonna rush it.
I just like doing Bob the Golem. So you see how this works, and this is Boverbell the Fairy. One of your wizards may set all their skills to equal their score at spell casting. Again, I just enjoy a sort of Boverbell reference. And this, we've agreed, Viv, haven't we? The haunted glass of water. This is our favourite familiar, not least because we can't quite decide whether the water is haunted or the glass is haunted, or possibly both.
Nobody knows, but it is definitely a valued colleague that you shouldn't drink.
One of your wizards may change their potion skill to 9 and all their other skills to 0. So that could help you out in a potion challenge. I like to think that actually it's the glass that's haunted, and any water that is poured into it, or indeed any liquid, becomes sentient. So you can actually have a conversation with your Diet Coke, should you want to, or any other. And it can, give you a little sort of Hans Christian Andersen style story of, how it sees the world and what it thinks of things. You never know.
That's true.
Just don't put any river water sourced from southern water into this, because basically it'll just become really filthy. Yeah, the language will just be appalling. Olive the Octopoid. Whenever you recruit a wizard, you may rearrange your wizards, whatever that might mean. But anyway,
wow, I can tell you, but okay. That's just if you've recruited. Imagine you've recruited Keith in some job where he's not actually, he's not in the best position, and then you find somebody who's like actually better suited. Then you can still, if you got Olive, you can rearrange your team. You usually can't. Once you've given someone a job, they're in the job.
So you see, Viv's the games player. I'm just the illustrator. I just like drawing the pictures, but I like the way that it gives Viv inspiration for game play. And together with Kevin, she comes up with this sort of what is a simple game, but it's got nice intricacies. This is Shetland the unicorn, very small unicorn with an impressively enchanted sort of curlicue horn there. At the end of the round, score 3 bonus points. Now I understand that. That's a sort of instruction.
That is good. It's not bad. It's better than nothing. But once you've recruited that pony, You can't recruit, for
Yeah.
example, your octopus anymore.
I know,
Oh
but
no,
he's cute.
he's
Come on,
cute.
you know,
Yes, he's cute.
Shetland is definitely cute. So yes, and it's been as we've been talking, Viv. I've been sort of doing what I sort of enjoy doing, which is sort of drawing. I'm using a sort of dip pen this afternoon, um, which is my preferred medium, and I'm illustrating some intricate designs and such as the ones in wizard work, and this is some sort of wizard, I think, that
Oh,
might not be in the
I
game,
did not
but
expect glasses. That's very nice.
yeah, just gives him a sort of air of
Yes,
gravitas suddenly. He was looking a bit dopey. Now he looks
yes,
slightly
very
into,
good.
is often the effect of glasses. Um,
So many wizards. I think you drew all of them 3 times, didn't you? Which is amazing
yes,
and unusual.
we went through various things because wizard work, I think, is special for both of us, Viv, because it was the first game we did,
Yeah,
wasn't it? We were sort of figuring out, what on earth it was, this thing we were doing, why we were doing it. And we had so much fun creating it, and sort of talking about it with people that we decided to do some more. I'm just going to give this wizard a name because that's what I
yes.
enjoy doing. This is Four-Eyed Erasmus.
Oh, I like him. The timid.
Four-Eyed Erasmus the Timid. One can sort of, decide whether he's a wizard worth recruiting to your agency. He's certainly got a sort of hair management problem, but that's just because it's easy to draw hair when you're having a conversation.
So,
Whereas you,
you might need a hairy wizard. You might need a timid wizard. That's a good thing. Each of these. That's a nice thing that each one of these wizards can win you the game if they're in the right position, and all of their character, all of their lack of power can be a positive if you play them right.
well, that's an interesting one, because my instinct is always to go with the ones that seem to be extremely high scoring
Oh
at
no,
one, but in fact they can often be misleading if in fact you
it
don't need
can be. It can be. For example, like there's sometimes. Well, for example, if you're trying to like do a heist in Magic Castle or something, and you need them to be quiet, then you don't want to have a wizard who's like completely covered in the amazing mechanical suit and is like clanking around, and that will be represented in their stats, and it will lose you the game. Or if you're, you don't always want people to be on fire. Sometimes you don't want people to be on. It's often good when people are on fire in this line of work, but sometimes it's a real problem, and then they might lose you the whole job. It
it.
happens.
Sounds terrifying. Whatever that is, Viv. I would say being on fire is a potentially very hazardous thing
Well, for
to
some
do.
people, it's their specialism, and they're good. They make a good living. But if you're gonna take a job in an aquarium, it's or worse, in an armory or in a library. Crikey, no, it'd be
Yes,
bad.
definitely.
You don't want a librarian to be on fire, for example. So that would be.
Absolutely.
Then you don't want to have a high scoring fire wizard. It's a very simple game, really. Oh, there you
This
go.
is
He's
for
beautiful.
Erasmus, the timid, and we've done this before, haven't we, Viv? About sort of 20 minutes ago,
Mm-hmm.
we had a chat exactly like this one, and I did another drawing. Only, unfortunately, you didn't press the right button or
Yes,
do
that's fine.
the
There were
nobody
technical difficulties.
exactly. So this was what I was doing the first time round. This is Lionel the
No,
Ambiguous.
beautiful.
Again, there's a story here of some sort. Who knows? And just like all the other wizards in the or this isn't one of the wizards in the pack, but in a sense, you can endlessly create characters and then sort of tell their stories as you go. And actually sort of combining them into some fun gameplay and getting them printed by a good, reputable, and extremely efficient card manufacturer.
We've done very well that way.
They've
It's
done
been
very well by us. And this, I just want to show you the back of the cards is an unexpected sort of pleasure. I hadn't thought about the back of the cards until we started to sort of, think about all the extra little bits we needed and just designing these little landscapes. I thought I had so much fun doing this. I thought what we'll do is maybe just do a whole pack of cards that are just landscapes. So that
Ooh.
is what I think we might talk about in a future betonmond Friday. We will talk about this game
Oh, definitely.
called. This did so well, we're going to reprint it. So unfortunately, it's not available at the moment, but it will be soon when we get a reprint. And we will also, I think, in the subsequent betonmond Friday, talk about Little Ghost.
Yes.
And this is a card game inspired by my very good friend, the singer Phoebe Bridges. Breaking news, Viv. Just this morning, I got an email from Phoebe's agent
Oh.
talking about a thing that Phoebe would like me to do for her. So that is exciting. I can't tell you what because it's top secret.
Oh,
But
poof, okay.
who knows? It might even be another card game. You can never tell. So that's Little Ghost. And then last but not least is the latest pack of cards we've done together at betonmond. This is the Cloud Tower Tarot. And again, I know nothing about tarot, but you do,
You do
Viv.
now. You do now.
Because you taught me, and your friend, Freudis, the Norwegian poet, who is another member of the betonmond team. She knows her tarots
She really
like
does.
so she's advised. So it's going to be a real pleasure to unpack the Cloud Tower Tarot on another Friday, Viv.
Yeah. Well, excellent. And meanwhile, I think wizard work is still in stock.
It is.
It
It's
is?
available.
Hey, get your
Yes.
wizards.
Cycling.big cartel. We will put that address down somewhere, underneath the
Oh,
video.
it is there. And from the betonmond website, you can get it. You can get there.
I hope you have as much fun with it as we had making it, as
Yeah.
they say. But it is one of 4 games, and it's soon going to be joined by a 5th game. And again, we're going to have to get together, Viv, on a Friday and introduce the new pack of cards that is not quite at the printers yet. I think you're just about to send it off.
I'm going to send it tomorrow, actually, but yes.
You suddenly looked very tired when I said that, but yes, I'm looking forward to talking about that one too.
Excellent. Good.
Thank you, Viv.
Well,
What
thank
a lovely
you.
time.
Good
A
work.
cup of tea has magically arrived in front of me. So, yes, it's tea time officially, and let's do this again.
Let's do this again. Okay, thank you, everybody. See you again soon, hopefully. Next time, hopefully on time. And yeah, bye-bye. Have fun. Bye.